Today I'm going to show you guys my Bare Minerals powder foundation routine, everything that I do to get this look. But before we get started, my name is Alejandra, and on this channel I bring to you products that simplify your beauty routine and solve any beauty concerns. So if you guys are a product junkie just like I am, please consider subscribing. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. So always make sure that you moisturize your face, even if you're oily. I'm actually using this one. This is the Pacifica Coconut Probiotic, and this is a hydrating cream. So it's not gonna over moisturize my skin, but it's gonna give me a little bit of hydration. So you always want to make sure that your skin is moisturized, because otherwise it'll be harder for the powder to stick to your face. And my cat's trying to jump my leg again. Alright, so once you've moisturized, go ahead and use your normal primers. If you are oily skin, you can use a oil controlling primer, and if you guys are a little bit more on the drier side, go ahead and use your usual hydrating primer. Now, I've used Bare Mineral primers before and I wasn't a big fan of them. I found that just using my regular primers that I usually use for my liquid foundations work really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on right now. Usually I get oily on my nose area, in between my eyebrows, and a little bit above the eyebrow. So that's the only places that I'm gonna put primer on. I have the Bare Tan Original Foundation. I also have their Well Rested Concealer. Now, you can conceal before you do your foundation, or you can conceal after. I usually do before because this concealer is a little bit on the lighter side in color. So I'm going to show you guys how well it conceals. And this kitty cannot stay away. What are you doing? I'm going to take a brush like this one. Alright, so usually the concealer, I just grab whatever's on the lid. And it's very little, and I'm gonna dip my brush into the powder, and I'm gonna go ahead and try and conceal this spot between my eyebrows, and just dab the powder in there until I feel is enough coverage. And obviously it's a little bit lighter than my skin tone, but that doesn't matter because we're gonna go over it with our powder. We just want to make sure that that spot is concealed before we put anything else on it. I'm gonna put a little bit on this area right here. If you see any darkness, usually I get dark right around here, and you guys can see how it gets a little bit more discoloration there. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this here. And these are all extra steps. Sometimes when I'm in a hurry, I just go in with the powder, and I feel like it does have enough coverage. So you guys don't have to do this step. I'm just showing you guys, for those of you that do require more coverage, this is something you guys can do. And I waxed my lip, and I think I burned myself, so we're just gonna ignore that. Right around there. So now that we've taken care of those spots, I'm gonna go into my Bare Minerals Original Foundation. Again, this is in the color Golden Tan, and I'm gonna start applying. This is the amount, I don't know if you guys can tell, this is the amount that I'm gonna start with. It's whatever's on the cap is what I'm gonna start with. If you guys want to add a little bit more, go ahead, but I always think it's better to start with a little bit than starting with a lot. The brush that I'm using is the Flawless Face Brush. This is also from Bare Minerals, and this is a really good brush to buff in the powder and just get an even application. So I'm gonna dip my brush in there, swirl it around, tap off the excess, and then I'm gonna buff my brush into my skin. You don't want to rush this step, because the more you buff this into your skin, the more the powder is going to attach to your skin and your skin oils and turn into a cream and give you more coverage. So don't rush through this step. You want to buff everything in, making sure that everything is nice and even. I'm doing half my face so that you guys can see how it looks between the application and having nothing on. It looks a little bit more even. It's not a full coverage just yet. You can add more to give it more of a full coverage, but right away you could see the unevenness in this side, and then this side is a little bit more even, a little bit more brighter. So I'm going to take a little bit more onto the cap, and then I'm going to apply just for a little bit more coverage. I'm buffing this in. Alright, so there you guys can see a little bit more how you guys get more coverage by adding just a tiny bit more product to give you medium coverage. And that's what's nice about Bare Minerals. It's a very buildable foundation, so the more you add, the more coverage you will get. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I cover these spots with the concealer, and we'll finish the rest of the face. But you can already see how uneven and discolored this side of the face is, and then this side of the face looks a little covered, more even, more smoother. I'm going to go ahead and do the forehead, and then we'll finish this side of the face. So again, I'm going to pour a little bit of the product onto the lid. I'll show you guys again what that looks like. I hope you guys can see that. Swirl my brush in, tap off the excess, and then go into the forehead. Go back into the lid, tap off the excess, and just swirl it in. I usually take a smaller brush such as this one and go in the eyebrows with this brush, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I kind of go up and down, kind of work the product in between the eyebrows. You can swirl it too, just make sure you don't ruin your eyebrows if you started already with the eyebrows. Go around the eyebrows with this. This is just a second pass for a more even medium coverage. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit more of the product into the lid. Hopefully you guys can see it. Dip my brush into the lid, tap off the excess, and then go to town on this side of the face. And just buffing in that foundation, making sure that all the minerals and the pigments melt with your skin. And this is again for a little bit more of a medium coverage. You guys, the more you buff it into the skin, the less of a powder it seems to be. So make sure you really take your time buffing that powder into your skin, and that way it won't look like you're wearing powder. Even on girls that have dry skin, I've noticed that the longer you buff the skin with a brush, the longer you buff the powder into the brush, it looks more natural and more skin-like. So there is a foundation on. I feel like it already looks nice and even. I was able to get it into a nice medium coverage, which is what I usually like. If you guys want a little bit more coverage, again, you guys can build it up to be more of a fuller coverage. Now what we can do is go in with concealer. Now, if you are light enough, this concealer, the Well Rested concealer, is awesome because it really does a good job of brightening. What I used to do is actually mixing my own foundation with the concealer, and that's what I would use under the eye. But what I started doing recently, I bought the light color in the original foundation, and this is just a few shades lighter, or light enough for some brightening and under the eye concealing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my Real Techniques, this is their highlighting brush or setting brush, and I'm going to use that to put this powder underneath my eye. So there already is some powder under here. We're not going to use all of it because that is a lot, but we're going to start by tapping the brush into the powder, tapping off the excess, and then putting this underneath. And this is just going to brighten your under eye a tiny bit. Like I said, if you guys have the need for more coverage, that Well Rested concealer is really, really good. I'm going to zoom you guys in so that you guys can hopefully see the difference between this naked eye and then this one. So if you guys can tell, this eye looks a little bit more smoother, more blurred out, versus this one, it doesn't have anything yet. So you guys can really tell, I feel like you can really see the difference between using a lighter color underneath the eye and then just buffing that in. And then this side that looks a little bit, you can see just a tiny bit of darkness under there, some texture, and then this one just looks really nice and flawless. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye. Alright, now that we have that done, I'm going to actually show you guys how to use the warmth color. And this, just by looking at it, it's a little bit intimidating because it looks like very, very pigmented in the pan. Like it looks like a dark brick red color. But if you guys use it sparingly, it's very beautiful, and I feel like it's really suitable for a lot of skin tones, especially even light skin tones. Shelby Wilson on YouTube is a big fan of Bare Minerals, and she loves warmth, and she's a little bit more on the paler side of the spectrum. So I think it looks really beautiful on her, and that is why I say that it does suit a lot of skin tones, even though it looks a little bit intimidating. But I'm going to show you guys how to put that on. I'm going to go ahead and use a fluffy brush. This is the Sonia Kashuk brush that you guys see me use in a lot of my videos. So this is all I'm going to use. Whatever was on the cap, if I feel like if I need more, I'll add a little bit more. But this might be enough for, you know, one side of the cheek. So we're going to start with this. I'm going to tap my brush into this and then tap off the excess. And then I'm going to warm up the face using circular motions. And then just bringing it down a little bit here. And see how you guys can see that nice instant warmth to the face? It just gives the face definition, warmth, and it's just nice and bronzy. So there you guys have it on this side. And then this side doesn't have anything. So we haven't put anything on this side yet. Very nice. And it's not patchy. It's just very nice and flawless. So what I do is I close up the lid, shake it up a little bit, and then open it up again. That's what determines the amount of powder that I'm going to use. So if you guys can see, there's more powder on the lid again, and then we're just going to go ahead and swirl our brush in there. Tap off the excess. And then just... So you guys can also do a little bit on the forehead. I'm not reapplying any more product. We're just going to get whatever's left on the brush and just do that on the forehead, and that is it for warmth. So if you guys have warmth, for example, I know there's a lot of starter kits out there with Bare Minerals, and a lot of them come with warmth. Try it out. Make sure you use it very sparingly. You guys will like it. Just try it. Trust me. Just use it sparingly. Start out with a little bit and work it up if you want more, but it's just very nice. So I do not have a blush from Bare Minerals in their loose formula, so I just went ahead and put a blush that I have. It's not even Bare Minerals, so I'm not really going to talk about it. I do, however, have the Pure Radiance highlight, so we're going to highlight our face with that. And you guys can use the brushes that you guys are used to using with your highlights. I'm going to go ahead and use the P75 highlighting brush from Wet n Wild. And again, whatever is on the lid is what you want to start with. And I'm just going to dip my brush in here, tap off the excess as much as you can because this highlight is very pigmented, and then just sweep it across your face. This highlight is gorgeous. I think now they have more shades available, but at the time when I bought this highlight, I feel like this was my favorite. They had like maybe 2 or 3 options. They might have some more now, but this one is just very, very nice. It has a little champagne-y undertone with some gold. So I don't think it accentuates any texture or pores. It's just so finely milled, and it's very, very, very pretty. So that is a highlight. You guys can put a little bit above the eyebrows if you guys want more glow. A little bit on the nose here. A little on the Cupid's bow. I'm gonna go ahead and set my face with this. This is the Milani Make It Last. It's very important to set your face with something. So if you guys have your favorite setting spray, go ahead and use that, because a setting spray is gonna combine all of those powders together and make it look less powdery. If you feel like you do look powdery with this powder foundation, this is gonna really help you seal that powder in and make it look less powdery. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So that is my Bare Minerals powder foundation routine. I hope you guys can tell the difference from like the beginning. I didn't do it before and after, so if you guys want to rewind it and see how my skin looks before I started all the application. I haven't changed the lighting. I haven't added any filters. I never do. So go ahead and check the beginning of the video and then now, and it doesn't look like you're wearing tons of makeup on. Even though you can build it up, it still looks very, very natural. So hope you guys enjoyed my Bare Minerals powder routine. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer any questions that you guys have. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys are new to this channel, please consider subscribing before you leave, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.